We had a pupil who brought in a full-on massive fish and decided to walk around the school hitting year 7s by holding the fish by the tail and hitting them across the face.
Right, okay, so behaviour. Okay, so one thing I'll say, 21 years in, I haven't got it sussed.
I got called a last week. Because I told a student to sit down, he's been naughty. I don't know if that language is allowed on the BBC.
I've been kicked, punched, bitten, spat at.
Kids, their behaviour changes according to the weather. Wind, they go wild. Snow is a nightmare.
Quite frankly, my surname is gay. Make any joke you want with that.
I've had a few pupils in the past tell me that they want me to effing die. That's fun. And you always say, have a lovely weekend with a smile on your face.
What makes you happy, miss? Are you happy being gay?
There was a stick woman, because she had breasts, who was labelled with what to do to various body parts, mouth for, tits for, other bits for, and then my name at the top. And I'm marking the books and just happened to flick to the back. I was just like, oh my God. Like what? He's 11.
The child was up on the desks, running left to right. I'm stood there waiting to catch, sort of thing, because you don't want to just grab them, you never know what's going to happen. And the table started to tip.
There's an Instagram account in your name with pictures of you on it. And I was like, what?
So I put my hand under, grabbed the child's armpit so they wouldn't go, but I didn't account for the other arm that they had swung back here, and I took an uppercut, and it split my tooth at the back. So I took a punch clean in the face off a 8-year-old child.
And there were superimposed pictures of my head on bodies. I mean, don't get me wrong, the bodies were amazing, they just weren't mine. So there's my face, photoshopped.
We now know that sellotape does bounce off my forehead if someone throws it at me, which is always a good thing to know.
I was mortified because a year 11 had his phone confiscated and me in a bikini was his screensaver.
Shouting is a big no-no. I'd encourage anybody that's teaching just to never do it. Because yeah, it might get the desired effect, but it always makes you feel bad. You know, there's been times in the past where I shouted, and I've got home and I've cried because I feel upset.
It's really easy as a teacher to get caught up in, oh, but they did that, and that person's that. But yeah, they're individuals, but they are still children.
When we talk about behaviour, behaviour of students is one thing, but behaviour with colleagues is entirely different. You'd expect working professionals, such as teachers, that you treat each other with the respect and kindness you deserve.
I had a horrific time. I had a few weeks in the school and it really wasn't working.
They treated me like dirt, they bullied me. It was horrible. They made me feel I was totally worthless.
I couldn't face going back into that school. The thought of going back in just was completely unbearable.
And I used to wake up in the middle of the night crying because I didn't want to go into that place the next day and see these people. They made me feel like I was the lowest of the low.
I just couldn't focus on what I was doing, just knowing every night that I had to go back into that school where I was going to be bullied.
It actually drove me to the point of where I actually wanted to take my own life.
I read once, and it sticks in my head, there are no problem children, there are children with different problems, and you have to figure out what those children need on any one day and work with it from there.
I taught really deprived kids in Manchester, and a lot of them were really, really sad backgrounds.
You are going to get the days where a child comes in, they've got it in their head that, no, I'm not conforming today, I've had a bad night, I've had no sleep, I'm going to give you my worst.
And he kicked off with one teacher, and because I had a great relationship with him, I sort of intervened, and accidentally he punched me.
Coming back to my classroom, and in glue was written, "Go home, Packy."
I had an issue a few years ago where a student threatened to stab me with a pair of scissors.
But in the midst of that, if you can make them laugh and come round to you, it's an achievement.
I remember once I asked students to write down the answer to a question on a post-it note, and then I asked them to come and stick them onto the board so that I could look at their answers and discuss them. And one kid came right up to me about this far from my face and just slapped the post-it note on my head. That was strange. That's a weird thing to do, right? Stick a post-it note on your teacher's head. He got sent out.